What's going on, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, May 6th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moon Base. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It was a pretty magical weekend. I mean, the moon and Neptune conjunct, the moon coming into Aries, now coming into its balsamic phase before this new moon in Taurus. And this new moon in Taurus that we're going to have this week is going to be really kicking off all the amazing things that this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we just went through, and we're still going through, and we're going to be going through until May, is going to be igniting and bringing all new things, all new energy, all new prosperity, and such powerful manifestation that's going to be coming in. So, today, here on Monday, this moon's in Aries, still. It just got off its conjunction with Mercury and Chiron yesterday, so, you know, a lot of the kind of victim woe is me shit kind of came up again. But now we're starting to piece together these things. But Mercury's moving so slow. Mercury's not got full speed yet. And I think it's significant as we come into Monday that this moon's going to be at 27 degrees here. And the moon's going to be void off course until it conjuncts with Venus. It's not going to be aspecting any other planets. There's not really major aspects here happening on Monday, other than this moon, which is really significant, especially with Mercury getting ready to make its conjunction with Chiron, and the moon just came off Mercury, Chiron, and that the moon is going to be at 27 degrees today. And the 27th degree is the degree that Mercury went retrograde. And that Mercury is going to come out of shadow. So we're still in the shadow phase of this Mercury retrograde. You know, so this Mercury retrograde is highlighted, these eclipses we just went through. It's highlighted the karmic things that have kind of played out in our lives, especially connected to Chiron, right? Where things haven't worked out. You know, where the kind of victim states that we play and these roles and these identities and, you know, this Mercury has been trying to identify what the root of the problem is and trying to piece together the puzzle, you know, and Mercury's still moving slow, but here coming into, you know, this week, I think a lot of that is going to start to really come to the surface and come to the forefront of our minds. And it's been a slow process of that occurring, you know, and this moon isn't really making any aspects. So I think to be able to focus on where to put that energy, especially with Mars and Aries, and to be able to put it into a place that is healthy and positive, we have to really take action on that. We can't get caught in the victim, in that kind of woe is me kind of state. You know, later on this evening, this is when we're going to have Mercury Chiron conjunct. So this is it. This is when things in our environment start to really give us the message of like, oh, that's why I keep falling into this place. That's why the same old patterns keep falling into, you know, we keep falling into these same patterns. And it's easy with this south node and this Black Moon Lilith on the south node here. Keep in mind, Black Moon Lilith is not an asteroid. It's not a planet. Okay, it is a mathematical point of the furthest point of the moon's orbit that is the furthest away from Earth. Which is interesting because this moon is in its balsamic phase. This is when the moon is the most darkest, at its most darkest point, before the new moon, before the moon can be reborn, going into this moon cycle. So it's easy today to really identify where these issues with Chiron have really been. Over the past month and a half, especially through these eclipses and this Mercury retrograde and Venus and the Sun in Aries, it's like when it comes to ourselves and our relationships and balancing those two parts of our reality, It's been a struggle because so many karmic things have came up that have challenged those areas of who we are, who we think we are, who the people in our lives are, who we think the people in our lives are, and a lot of truths being exposed. Neptune's now at the 29th degree for the first time ever. So subconsciously, it's like we know the root causes. We know why. And definitely with Pluto going retrograde, there might be more than just some it could be more than personal things. It could be deep-rooted issues from childhood, right? Pluto brings that up a lot of like childhood traumas, the patterns and the patterns and the behaviors that are ingrained unconsciously that, as we become more conscious, we become more aware of, we can actually make a difference and act upon these things that are coming to the forefront, right? And we just had this Mars sextile Pluto, which is allowing us to fucking have this energy to really go after, identifying what those unconscious issues are. And it's connected to this Chiron. And now with Mercury making its final conjunction with Chiron, it's like, okay, it's not something or somebody else. It's our own shit. It's our own stuff that we have to really deal with. And we have to be able to have the conscious awareness to identify what the issues are and actually take action with this Mars and Aries moving towards the North Node, moving towards Chiron. We have to actually put it into action. Like, I am going to do this about it, right? I'm going to take action and put this into motion. This is what I'm going to do about it, And with Mercury finally getting into the later degrees of Aries, heading towards the 27th degree, once it comes out of shadow, then it's like, okay, we need to really make a plan here about what we're going to do about it, right? We have to be able to put things in order. We have to be able to make a plan day to day. Mercury is all about the here and now. It's not too focused on the bigger picture. This Jupiter-Uranus with the sun coming up here and this new moon that we're going to be having with this. Once we get to the new moon on the 7th and the 8th this week on Wednesday and Thursday, then, or Tuesday and Wednesday, then we can really take hold of the bigger picture and how, the more beautiful things and the manifestation that we've been really acting upon and working towards since the beginning of the year, since Mars has been in Capricorn and Jupiter went direct on New Year's Day. It's like, before we get to this new moon, we really got to be, right here, right now, and be present and focus on the more local environment that's like right in front of us, right? And if we're really paying attention and we're really being observant and not being caught in the victim state and not being caught in the fucking, the woe is me or whatever, it's very easy with this Chiron, and especially with the Neptune, with Neptune at the 29th degree, the final degrees of Pisces. We've never been here before. This is whole new territory. Neptune has never been here in our entire lives. A lot of that's going to be coming up, along with very deep entrenched memories, that, have kind of been resting in our subconscious, or patterns that have been triggered by deep memories that kind of play off of these subconscious issues and these unconscious issues. I associate Neptune with the subconscious and Pluto with the unconscious. I think discerning those two things is very important too, because, they're two different parts of ourselves, right? The unconscious mind are these ingrained patterns from before we were conscious beings, adults, right? Even back into the womb. Pluto goes all the way back into the womb. And, it's like Neptune is more of like how the more underlying subliminal subconscious stuff, that we take in through media, even driving down the street, the billboards that we take in and how those, like all this stuff, the stuff we play on the radio, the music, how that activates our subconscious, and those things sit there and they rest and they have to go somewhere, right? Things get repressed in the subconscious. Things get repressed in the unconscious. But they're two different, areas of our mind and of our brain. If you want to get, down to the more scientific aspect of it. But with this Mercury conjuncting Chiron for the third time, it's like we've gone through these same patterns. We've fallen into these same places multiple times. This eclipse kind of lit up and blew up a lot of those situations, And I think a lot of it's connected to where we kind of put things off onto other people on this south node, right? So if we're going to not call it like it is and just be honest about ourselves and identifying the internal problem, that's what Aries is all about, is the identity and identifying the problem and identifying the next step to take. And with this Mars and Aries, the steps are clear, right? And once the Mars gets to the North Node, it's like karmic situations are going to be pulling you into the places that you're supposed to be. And with this Jupiter-Uranus expanding our lives in such beautiful, magical ways, we want to be able to be honest and critical and objective to identifying what these things are that are connected to our subconscious and unconscious patterns that are being exposed, being uprooted, that really have kind of trapped us with this Chiron that keeps us in these victim states. And now with Mercury, it's like we can be able to identify it, right? And Mars getting closer to these areas, then once we can identify it, then we can actually take action and make a plan and like decide this is what we're going to do about it. This is what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to put more focus on my physical exercise or put more focus on my physical appearance and actually give a shit more, like things like that, making a plan. Or I'm going to, go out of my way to do things for people a lot more and not be so self-serving, which Aries can definitely do, which is important right now. It's like we really want to focus on our individual selves, because this South Node in Libra, it's like, getting too lost and getting too caught up in other people and in relationships. It's going to blind you from being able to identify these issues and what they really are, So the moon is kind of not making any aspects today. So, this is giving us an opportunity before we get to the new moon to really look at things as a whole and not feel like we're so trapped, because that's kind of how it's kind of felt since this Mercury went retrograde. It's like, fuck. It's like we're trying to move forward. Things aren't really clear yet. Things have been kind of foggy. But now I think once we get through this new moon and Mercury coming out of shadow, we're going to start to understand these things and be able to identify the issues a lot easier. But the sensitivity as well is at an all-time high. So we can't be scared. We can't buy into the fear with this Pluto retrograde. Buying into the fear is only going to take you into these same old unconscious patterns and places where we don't want to be and where we've been trying to address going through Aries season and coming into Taurus season, through the eclipses, through the Mercury retrograde, over this next week and these next 2 weeks. And once Mars gets towards the North Node, it's going to be quite obvious. It should already be obvious, but today it's definitely going to be obvious, with Mercury making its third and final conjunction with Chiron. And once it comes out of shadow and Mars gets towards the North Node, we can actually make a plan and put it into action. That's what I'm saying and feeling about Mars in Aries and Mercury coming out of shadow, is those two phrases. Making a plan and putting it into action. And that is what is going to take us to where we really want to be with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Because once Venus gets there and the sun gets there, that is our opportunity to put into the fabric of reality of this is what I want my life to look like. This is what I want my health to look like. This is what I want my wealth to look like. This is the kind of security in my life that I want. That's what Taurus season and this new moon in Taurus and this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus is providing. Jupiter provides. It's going to give us the support that we need. We're not going to get this for the rest of the year. So, call it like it is. Take care of yourself. Don't get caught up in the same old relationship BS. This is the final time Mercury's going to conjunct with Chiron. Don't go back to wherever the fuck you keep going back to in yourself. Because it's not somebody else. This is Aries season. This is Mercury in Aries. It's the South Node in Libra. It's not your partner. Or it's not some relationship or business relationship or creative connection and relationship. It's you. It's like, what are you doing? You know, if someone's not following through with you, what are you going to do about it? Make a plan, put it into action. It's becoming clear now. So. And with the Hangman, it's like there's a sacrifice that needs to be made. And this is very Chiron. This is very, very, very Chiron. You know, Chiron had to keep fighting the battle, right? Even though he was wounded, even though he was shot with an arrow by his own brother in the heat of the war, in the middle of a battle. Sorry. We have to make a sacrifice. And I think today, you know, it's going to become very clear of what we need to let go of, you know, and there's something that cannot move forward with what we're moving into now. There's something that we have to let go of. There's something that's connected to your identity in some relationship or some relationship that you've identified with that no longer makes any sense to the path that you're on karmically with this North Node in Aries. It's like there has to be a sacrifice that's made, right? Going through this week before this new moon, you know, we're in the dark moon. We're in the balsamic phase. So this is the moon at its darkest point. We have the black moon. We have black moon Lilith on the south node. Venus is dispositing the south node, dispositing the sun, dispositing Jupiter and Uranus. Relationships, values, self-worth, money, finance, creative projects, romantic. This is the highlight of this whole month and really going into June. Even though we're moving into Gemini season, we're moving into Jupiter coming into Gemini. It's like we're still going to have so many planets in Taurus. Venus, Mercury, Mars going through Gemini season. So it's like this Jupiter-Uranus is going to be activated going into the middle of June. And even in July, if you want to count that with Mars still in Taurus, right? But by then, we're going to have Saturn going retrograde. Pluto just went retrograde. So the outer planets are going to start going retrograde. You know, Neptune will go retrograde before too long. Neptune won't make it to Aries now that it's at the final degree of Pisces. So anyway, don't forget my Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus reading sale is still available. There are dates the first week of June. There's a few at the end of May. You could try to book, but June, the first week of June is now open. We want to jump on this energy as much as we possibly can because we're not going to get it for a long time. So if you're new here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment, say what's up. All the links to my social media platforms are in the description of this video, and the link to my booking website, to my Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and Taurus reading sale is also in the description of this video. Oh, thank you all for being here. I love you guys a lot. I love putting this shit out every single day. I got new things coming up with some awesome people we're going to be putting out very soon. I know I said I would do sun sign horoscopes, but I'm trying to make a plan so I can execute it, right? In order. You know, I don't like to do things just without really having things in order and clear. So once Mercury comes out of shadow, actually, I will say, I forgot. This is one thing I wanted to say. On Wednesday, me and Frankie, who is a wonderful tarot reader, she has an amazing tarot channel. She was on High Vibe last year. She's an amazing person. I'm going to be doing a live with her on her channel on Wednesday for the new moon in Taurus, which is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about that. I love collaborating with other people, and I know since I've been doing this, I've collaborated with a few people, and I want to keep doing that. So on Wednesday, I'm going to be over there. Go to Frankie's Tarot on YouTube, find it on YouTube, follow her channel. I'll be there on Wednesday. Once I get confirmation on what the time is, I will let you guys know. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing tarot, talking about the new moon. We're going to do sun sign horoscopes for the new moon in the month of May, and this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction especially I want to focus on with this new moon, and Venus in Taurus, relationships and love and finance and money, and most importantly, what we are really manifesting in this time right now is what we're going to be talking about. So I'm super stoked. Hope you guys have a great Monday, and I will see you on Tuesday. Peace.